What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive right into our first news. Sean O'Malley opened up about how much his win over Song Yadong meant to him after snapping a tough losing streak. Sean admitted that earlier in his career, he took winning for granted. He felt almost untouchable, like victory was always guaranteed. Fight after fight, he kept winning, and it became normal for him. That mindset changed after suffering back-to-back losses. Sean explained that coming into this fight, he realized just how much a win truly matters. Beating Song felt different, not just physically, but emotionally as well. He said the relief and satisfaction hit harder than usual because he had recently experienced the other side of the sport. Sean noted that after most wins in the past, he would stay calm and move on quickly, believing he was always going to win anyway. This time, however, the feeling was stronger. After dealing with losses, getting his hand raised again felt genuinely good and reminded him why winning should never be taken for granted. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to support the channel. Moving on to another news, Waldo Acosta shared a lighthearted moment following his TKO win over Derek Lewis when asked about the possibility of having a 10th child. Waldo laughed and immediately shut the idea down. He joked that production has officially been halted and made it clear that there will be no more kids. With a smile, he said they are completely done and that 9 children is already a lot to handle. The moment drew laughter from everyone in the room, showing a relaxed and happy side of Waldo after a big victory inside the octagon. Moving on to another news. Belal Muhammad perfectly broke down how Justin Gaethje would defeat Paddy Pimblett, and his prediction ended up looking incredibly accurate. Belal shared his thoughts earlier in the week on his YouTube channel, explaining why the matchup heavily favored Justin and where things could go wrong for Paddy. Belal started by pointing out that this is not college wrestling, but full MMA. He stressed that the UFC is about striking, grappling, pressure, and damage, all mixed together. From Belal's perspective, if Paddy wanted any real chance, he needed to shoot early and test the grappling right away. He explained that when both fighters are dry and fresh, that is the best window to initiate takedowns before the damage starts to add up. Belal referenced how Khabib used to catch low kicks and immediately turn them into takedowns, either shooting off the kick or driving opponents to the fence. He emphasized that staying on the feet with Justin is extremely dangerous. According to Belal, everyone who gets hit by Justin talks about how hard he hits, calling him one of the hardest punchers in the division. Belal made it clear that trying to prove toughness on the feet would be a mistake, saying there was no need to test your chin against someone like Justin. In Belal's view, Paddy's clearest path to victory was on the ground. He believed Paddy would have an advantage in tough grappling exchanges, especially if he could secure multiple takedowns. Belal pointed out that Paddy was able to control Michael Chandler on the mat, mount him, and hold strong positions, showing that his grappling can work against high-level opponents. Belal encouraged that same approach against Justin instead of trading strikes. Despite outlining Paddy's possible strategy, Belal ultimately picked Justin to win the fight. He explained that Paddy tends to get hit too much on the feet. Even in fights, he wins. He referenced Jared Gordon landing clean hooks and crosses, noting that Justin excels in similar areas with dirty boxing and inside fighting. Belal felt Justin's pressure and boxing style would steadily wear Paddy down. Belal did not necessarily expect a knockout, predicting more of a long, brutal decision similar to a Tony Ferguson-style fight. He praised Paddy's toughness, saying he is not easy to break, but still believed Justin's pressure, power, and experience would be enough to secure the victory. Moving on to another news, Joe Pyfer pushed back strongly against the idea that Israel Adesanya is washed ahead of their fight at UFC Seattle in March. Joe made it clear that he does not believe Israel is anywhere near done, saying that 36 years old is not that old for a fighter, especially one who has taken care of his body. Joe explained that Israel has not absorbed excessive damage throughout his UFC career. He referenced the tough fight with Kelvin Gastelum and the loss to Pereira, but pointed out that even in those bouts, Israel was never flatlined or knocked out cold. From Joe's perspective, that matters a lot. He believes Israel is still young in fight years and still capable of performing at a very high level. Joe also said that Israel's current position could actually make him more dangerous. With no immediate pressure of chasing a belt or answering critics, Joe feels Israel might be freer mentally and able to focus purely on fighting. While Joe admitted he does not know exactly where Israel is at in his personal life, he emphasized that he is preparing for the absolute best version of him. Joe was honest about his own mindset going into the fight. He said he does not want to step into the octagon and be embarrassed or turned into a meme. Instead, his goal is to go out there, cause damage, hurt Israel and potentially be the first fighter to finish him in a truly dominant way. Joe described a scenario where it becomes clear that Israel simply cannot hang anymore. Despite that confidence, Joe acknowledged the challenge ahead. He said he has a lot of work to do in training, but no matter which version of Israel shows up on fight night, he believes he will be ready to take him out. Moving on to another news, Diego Lopes spoke in detail about his upcoming rematch with Alexander Volkanovski and made it clear that this will not be the same fight fans saw the first time. While many fans are not overly excited about the matchup, believing the first fight already told the story, and with Volk nearing retirement, Diego is completely focused on proving that he has evolved. Diego admitted that the first fight was much tougher than he expected. He said Volkanovski moves extremely well, has incredible awareness, and followed a near-perfect game plan. Diego recalled how every time Volk was in front of him, he could hear instructions coming from the corner, and Volk would instantly adjust. That level of discipline and execution left a strong impression on him, and he gave full credit to Volkanovski for the performance. Since that fight, Diego says everything has changed. He explained that he took a hard look at his previous training camp and realized there were many flaws. At the time, he admitted he had a bit of ego, believing he did not need to fix certain things and that everything was already good enough. After the loss, he understood that mindset was wrong. Diego revealed that he completely rebuilt his preparation from the ground up. He removed distractions, corrected weaknesses, and even built a private gym exclusively for himself and his team. With a dedicated cage in a controlled environment, he feels he can now focus 100% on preparation. Every part of his camp has been tailored specifically for this rematch. One of the biggest areas of improvement, according to Diego, has been his confidence and execution with takedowns. He admitted that in the first fight, he did not feel confident going for them because Volkanovski moved so well and shut down opportunities. This time, he says that problem has been fixed. Diego promised that if he gets the opportunity to take Volkanovski down, he will do it without hesitation. Diego emphasized that this camp corrected all the mistakes from the first fight. He feels sharper, more disciplined, and far more prepared mentally. He believes he now understands Volkanovski's patterns better and has built his entire strategy around exploiting small openings and capitalizing on every chance. While fans may still be skeptical, Diego made it clear that this rematch is his moment. He is confident he has leveled up as a fighter and is determined to show that this second fight will be fought on his terms, not as a repeat of the first. Moving on to another news, Israel Adesanya is gearing up for his return to the octagon against surging middleweight knockout artist Joe Pyfer in the main event of UFC Seattle on March 28th. This marks Izzy's first fight since a shocking second-round knockout loss to Nassourdine Imavov. That early KO raised questions about Adesanya's chin and timing, especially after turning 36 and dealing with a string of setbacks. The matchup now represents a classic high-stakes crossroads, with Izzy needing a statement win to reaffirm his status among the division's elite. Despite the recent loss, Adesanya remains one of the most skilled strikers in MMA history, with elite distance management, precision counters, and fight IQ. He faces a younger, explosive power puncher in Pyfer, who is on a hot streak, rebounding from his only UFC loss with strong victories. Izzy sees this as classic UFC matchmaking, pairing a rising star with a veteran to either boost the young fighter's profile or test if the veteran still has it after a loss. He is well aware of the danger, as Pyfer's one-shot power could end the fight instantly, but he remains unfazed by the pre-fight noise. Adesanya has taken note of Joe's online trolling, which drew attention and sparked conversation, but he laughs it off, calling it modern nonsense. He emphasizes that fighters today can't take everything personally in a world full of fakes, edits, and AI-generated content. He joked that if Pyfer really wanted to be about it, he should have posted an image with his knee on Izzy's neck, but then quickly acknowledged the absurdity of AI. According to Adesanya, this is just another element of the sport that fighters must deal with, and taking offense is pointless. He described the entire scenario as part of the game, something he has observed for years. Fighters try, succeed, and fail at building narratives around one another. And this is simply the nature of the beast in the modern UFC. Adesanya has seen how opponents attempt to use respect, compliments, or social media stunts to get under a fighter's skin, and he remains focused on preparation and execution rather than distractions. For Israel, the focus is entirely on the fight. He acknowledges Pyfer's talent and danger, but remains composed and ready to showcase his skills. The loss to Imavov is behind him, and this matchup offers the perfect stage to remind the world why he is considered one of the most dangerous and precise strikers in MMA today. Izzy's mindset is clear. Stay sharp, stay focused, and don't get caught up in the online theatrics. Moving on to another news. Justin Gaethje made it clear that there is no chance the UFC is keeping him off the White House card. Speaking after his latest war, Justin admitted he took some big shots and felt his brain get rattled a couple of times, but emphasized that one of the key differences between MMA and more dangerous sports like boxing or football is the ability to take proper time to recover. He said he plans to do exactly that, but with the White House card set for June, he fully expects to be ready. Justin stated that he represents his country every time he steps into the octagon and believes there is no way he is missing that event unless something extreme happens. Justin also responded to comments made by Paddy Pimblett, who claimed Justin's face would not look the same after their fight. Justin laughed it off and explained that he actually wanted to drag Paddy into deep rounds. He said the irony was that Paddy talked about faces changing, but immediately after the fight, Justin pointed out that Paddy's face was the one that showed the damage. Justin said he looked mostly the same, aside from some swelling, and felt satisfied with how the fight played out. When asked about Ilia, Justin made it clear he has no interest in trash talk. He said he does not give him any extra attention and prefers to control his thoughts and emotions. Justin explained that he relies heavily on his coaches to study opponents and build game plans. While he has obviously seen Ilia fight, he does not spend time obsessively watching footage himself. He mentioned watching Paddy fight earlier, but overall trusts his team to guide the preparation process. Justin added that everything is moving very fast and he is simply focused on what is directly in front of him. If the next fight is what everyone expects, he said he cannot wait. That is why he is in the sport, to fight the best possible opponents. He believes that unless Ilia is unavailable, this is the matchup that makes the most sense. As the first two-time interim champion in UFC history, Justin acknowledged that second chances at this level are rare. Now, he finds himself potentially heading into a unification fight against an undefeated, top pound-for-pound fighter. He made it clear that while Ilia is not Khabib, the challenge is still massive. Justin said the key this time is trusting his preparation, trusting his coaches, and trusting his own skills. Justin closed by saying he is in this position for a reason. Whether it is destiny or not is out of his control, but he believes in the work he has put in. If everything lines up, he feels confident that this could be one of the biggest and best fights the UFC can put on, and he is ready to rise to the moment. Moving on to another news. Dana White addressed multiple talking points following a wild night of fights, including the future of Arman, the health status of Justin Gaethje, and the unbelievable toughness shown by Paddy Pimblett in their 5-round war. Dana White confirmed that Justin Gaethje is 100% healthy and does not need to take any time off despite going through an absolute battle. According to Dana, Gaethje has been in plenty of wars throughout his career and felt completely fine afterward. While medical checks are always part of the process, as far as the UFC is concerned right now, Gaethje came out of the fight in good condition and ready to move forward. Paddy Pimblett, on the other hand, was immediately sent to the hospital after the fight. Dana praised Paddy's heart and toughness, explaining that he did not realize just how durable Paddy truly was until that night. At the weigh-ins, Paddy boldly declared that he was going to knock Justin out, and surprisingly, he never abandoned that game plan. Even after being dropped multiple times, Paddy refused to change his approach. Dana admitted he kept expecting Paddy to shoot for a takedown or try to find a submission, but it never happened. Paddy stayed in the pocket, traded shots, and showed the kind of grit that earns respect across the MMA world. It was a brutal, exhausting fight, and Dana made it clear that both fighters deserved massive credit for delivering an all-out war. As for what comes next, Dana acknowledged the ongoing conversation around the interim and unification picture. If a fighter is injured and needs time away, plans can change. But with Gaethje reportedly healthy, the division remains wide open and very interesting. Dana also touched on Arman, who many fans online believe was snubbed from the interim title fight. Arman was in attendance at the event, and Dana said the two briefly greeted each other, shook hands, and exchanged hellos. There was no long conversation about timelines or matchups, but Dana hinted that Arman could still be very much in the mix. When asked about upcoming events, Dana mentioned that the UFC has cards planned all the way through the White House card. While he could not say off the top of his head whether Arman is officially booked, he did suggest that Arman will probably fight on one of those upcoming shows. That alone was enough to spark excitement among fans, as it signals that Arman's moment may be closer than many think. Overall, Dana painted a picture of a lightweight division full of chaos, toughness, and momentum, with Gaethje standing strong, Paddy earning respect, and Arman waiting right there for his opportunity. Moving on to another news, Arman made it very clear after UFC 324 that his next target is Justin Gaethje. Speaking following the event, Arman said he believes a fight with Gaethje makes the most sense right now, especially with how the division is shaping up after the latest results. Arman acknowledged that Ilia is currently the champion, while Justin now holds the interim title. With both belts in play, Arman sees himself firmly in the middle of the title picture. He explained that there are many conversations happening around the division, with different matchups being discussed, but in his mind, the path forward is becoming clearer. According to Arman, his expectation is that he will fight Justin next, while Ilia moves on to a different challenge. He suggested that Ilia could potentially fight for the 170 title, adding that this was not based on inside knowledge, but simply his personal feeling about how things might unfold. Even so, Arman sounded confident in his prediction and comfortable with the idea of facing Gaethje for the interim belt. Arman went on to explain that his main motivation is fighting the toughest and most relevant opponent available. Since Justin is the interim champion, that fight carries real meaning. He believes that beating Justin would solidify his position and leave no doubt about his place at the very top of the division. He also mentioned that timing will play a major role. If Ilia is unable to return early in the year or cannot compete around April or June, Arman feels that the UFC should move forward with him and Justin. In that scenario, he would gladly step in and take the fight without hesitation. Overall, Arman came across as calm, focused, and confident. He is not trying to jump the line or make excuses. He simply wants the biggest fight available. And right now, in his mind, that fight is Justin Gaethje. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for your daily dose of MMA news.